So I'm into it. If you are checking the box on all the basics with radical consistency, and then you want to take a mitochondrial supplement, dude, more power to you. But you can't do all that stuff in lieu of the basics. And I think that's where we've gotten lost. I think we've gotten enamored with the fancy, or we've gotten confused. And my goal is to bring people somewhere in the middle. And to me, that's Everest Base Camp.
Juliet, what an evocative analogy. So apt for this podcast. And I love that about bringing people to base camp. That makes so much sense. People are trying to, micro titrate their supplementation and getting down all these rabbit holes in their pursuit for like the latest hacks, if I may. But they are forgetting to focus or to preserve those fundamentals that can allow them to acclimate at base camp, like you so rightly put, which is just such a great segue that I just have to ask you, can you please help walk us down some of these basic tenets, these foundations of your base camp philosophy?
Sure. It's pretty simple. And I'll just do a quick list and then we can talk about them more extensively. You need to sleep 7 or 8 hours a night. There's no scientific dispute about this. Adults need to sleep 7 or 8 hours a night. You've got to eat fruits and vegetables. We can talk about how much I think you should eat, and protein. You need to walk a lot. Human beings are meant to walk and move a lot. We need to get non-exercise activity. You need to be able to get up and down off the ground. You need to have some mobility in your body, especially if you don't want to end up in a nursing home. To me, those are the basic things. One of the things I love to add for an outdoor audience is lift weights. And the reason that I like to add that to an outdoor audience is that I think those of us who are in the outdoor space, we tend to do a good job already of getting the cardiovascular fitness, as sort of, the sort of hard cardio that we need in whatever our pursuits are, but we often we don't see ourselves as gym people. So we don't want to go spend the time that you have to spend in the gym to get strong and have a strong skeleton and a strong, sort of armor of muscle on our body that really will help us age. So I think those would be the things. If you, I'm sure many of your listeners also listen to Peter Attia and some of the sort of longevity experts. And, Attia says that, VO2 max is the thing, the most important thing for aging. And, and then if you listen to Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, having skeletal muscle mass is the thing. But to me, exercise is so personal. And it really is, such a part of who we are, and we all have different preferences. And so I don't really care how you get your cardiovascular fitness and work on your VO2 max. And I don't care, what type of weightlifting or strength work you want to do. But I think, man, you've got to eat fruits and vegetables. You've got to sleep. You have to give a crap about your mobility if you don't want to end up in a nursing home. You have to care about that. And you got to walk a lot. We're supposed to walk. I mean, honestly, I believe the prescription for older folks, and I'm talking older, like over 45, is like walk and lift weights. If people just walked enough and lifted weights, like, we wouldn't even be having this conversation because we'd all be perfectly healthy.
Those principles make sense. It's it's funny. They almost seem boring.
They're so boring.
But sometimes
they're not sexy at all. They're not sexy. And I get it. It's so fun. Like, it's so much more fun to be like, I'm getting my red light therapy and I'm sleeping on these magnets. And, it's way more fun to talk about those things at a party. Like, talking about how you got 8 hours of sleep last night is not cool. And it's hard to make a cool, fun reel on Instagram about that. But man, the amount of people, when you really dig deep and ask people what their habits are, and learn that they're not doing these things. They know they should be doing them in many cases, but they're not doing them. And they're definitely not doing them consistently. And, again, lots of fancy stuff you can add to that base level. But, it's almost like, you got to take chemistry 1A before you can take organic chemistry. People are not taking chemistry 1A.
Yeah.